Hello, we're going to do cone complete with round branch, drawing number 9. This round branch is going to be coming in at a 45-degree angle. This is going to be very similar to number 8, where the round branch was coming straight in on this one. The only difference is now the branch comes in down on an angle. The round branch here coming this way. There'll be one little difference on this one, but besides that, they're going to be exactly the same. So going back and looking at number 8, using some blue pen here, gets a little busy in this area, gets really busy here. If you're out just a little bit here, that puts you a little bit out over here. I think if we remember, I was a little bit out on this one somewhere. I think it was the whole pattern. It was a couple mil, and I was able to correct over here. So very similar to this one, couple different dimensions. So with the dimensions, we'll have a look at that, but first we'll have a look at the how-to. On the D2L there is the how-to, so you can follow through. There is lots of dimensions. Might be missing a few, but there's enough there to double check your stuff. And then at the end there's always the full scale, and you can always measure from the full scale back to your original drawing. Same with the whole pattern. You can always just measure directly off of here if there's something missing off of here for a dimension. So that kind of gets your pattern, gets you going. Okay, so let's double check here that everything works out. I've gone ahead and put some layout on here already. I do not have to do the whole drawing here. I just need the 1/2. So that's all we've drawn there. So let's go through and double check. We've got 60 here. So we're 60 at our base. Oh, let's go to drawing 9. They are both still the same, 60. 160 here for the height, 160. There'll be a 60 radius at the bottom, 60, 60. We're 10 millimeters over from the edge. Like to try to keep it tight to the left, tight down below. So since we're 60, I've gone up 70. So I've allowed 10 mil here on the bottom. I've allowed 40 mil between them, just to allow enough space here because we are going to be swinging down some arcs. So we do need a little bit of space there. We're 60 here, so a 30 radius. And we're 110. So we're 110 there. So those are some good dimensions to start with. This down over here is just drop down plumb from the top edge. It really doesn't matter. You can draw this, you can draw it right up here if you want. Doesn't matter because the element lines are just going to come over. So we've just done it as if you were looking down from the top, that's what you would look at anyway. So we just did some alignment there with that. So to start, this one's going to be similar to the last one. We'll do the branch pattern first because it is the easier one. So from this, we'll get our element lines on there. So we need to divide. So double check, make sure this is at your 30. Let's go ahead and put the element lines on. We'll do the one down below since we already have our compass set. I always say dividers, but I guess really it's a compass. Dividers have 2 points, whereas a compass has a point and a pencil. Okay, from there, let's go ahead. We'll put our element lines on. Oops, sorry, get my head in the way there. It is a little hard to see here, just because the camera's right over top, so I have to make sure I keep out of the way. I've reduced the light to reduce the glare, which makes it a little harder to see as well for me. but reduced light means less glare. So let's bring these element lines all the way down to the bottom. Again, if you're in your 3H pencil, your lines will be a lot lighter and a lot easier to erase if you make a mistake. If I make a mistake, this HB pencil is a little darker. Okay, so we need to cut some elevations here. So I'm going to cut an elevation at the bottom of the branch, right here. And I'm going to cut an elevation at the top of the branch, right here. Okay, so we're going to swing some arcs. These lines might get in the way a little bit here. It gets a little busy down below, but how about we just erase some of these unnecessary lines here. There we go. Swing an arc up. Now this arc will be the width here at that elevation. And down below, you set your compass. It's pretty close to down below. Okay, so we need to build an arc here and up top, the same radius as this branch. Let's extend this line. It's going to be a little busier up top here. So we might want to erase a couple lines up top. I'm going to reset this to 30. This will come right off the bottom of the branch, that line that we put it at that elevation. I'm going to need a plumb line there. Again, I could have set this back a little bit, but we'll just leave it right off that point. And this one up top, I need a plumb line as well. Put that in after. Let's go ahead and put some plumb lines in. And bring this over horizontally. This will be the top one. Okay, set these at your 30 here again. So we're just going to divide this out. Almost looks like it hits right at the base there. That's pretty close. It's just a coincidence. Sometimes when we're laying out, things just happen to land in certain spots. Just coincidence sometimes. Sometimes it's an angle thing, so the angles just end up lining up. Okay, so let's bring these over to the radius. This one is just slightly above that baseline. Do a little better job here on that one. There we go. Get a bit of a shadow sometimes on the T-square. This plexiglass here does create a little bit of a shadow sometimes, so having a light directly over top, lots of light, gets rid of those shadow lines. There we go. We're going to have to connect like we did last time, so how about we go ahead and number this just the same. We'll number this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And down below, maybe the 4, 5, 6, and 7. And up top, we got the 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 4 are the outside ones here. Okay, so we're going to bring this up, plumb, till we hit this elevation. We're going to bring these down plumb to this elevation and we'll connect the lines. Make sure everything's tight. There we go. Let's connect these. I wonder if using my other straight edge would be any better. One nice thing about the clear ones is you can see through them on the other side. Okay, so number 7's at the bottom here. So number 6, where number 6 crosses 6, so 6 comes up, crosses 6, 5 comes up, where it crosses 5, and 4, where 4 comes up and crosses 4. And again, this is almost like a graph here where you go over one, up one, over one, up one, over one, up one. This will be the same going this way. So there's 3 and 3, 2, and 1. Right there. Okay, so that those are our true lengths. So we can actually measure down there for our true lengths. That's all we need for our pattern. We are 60, so same math I think as the last one. We're 60 times pi. 188. It's a little different actually. 0.49. A half there. 4549. Sorry. Looking at the 5 there. Pretty close to a half. Okay. Also, I think we'll divide this out with the sloping line method as well. I think I remember doing that last time. It's a lot easier. Let's go fairly tight to this just to leave lots of room. We're going to go 188, 180, 188 and a half, I guess. Well, we can just go from here. Doesn't, any height will do as long as it fits on the page. I want to leave enough room for that whole pattern as well. So 12 times what? Some even numbers always work good. 12 times 15, 180. So what about 12 times 20? It's probably a pretty big number. 240. Yeah, it's a fairly big number, but it's an easy one to divide into 12. So it's going to have to extend this a little bit. I'll just erase that off after. So for this one, we'll just line this up to 240. There's your 240. Make sure you get your right line there. Sometimes these numbers get a little bit off, so like the 11 is there. So the number is on the left side. So there's the 240. So it would have been easy to mix up with something like that. So that's a measuring thing. Let's draw a line. So just double check to make sure you are measuring correctly. 20, 40, 60. Okay. So we're only going to need to go this length here, so probably no longer than, we're only going to here. So 65 is probably our longest, so probably only to about there, so that should be pretty good. We'll just go to about here. Okay, so we want our seam on the shortest side, so that would be number 1. Take your dimensions. And get them both. So most important here is you measure off the end of this branch here, not the projected half moon off of here. Otherwise, you're going to be way out. So everything comes off this sloping line right here. We're just going to these dots right here. Those are your true lengths. Okay, let's snake that in. There we go. We'll check with pattern. Looks fairly straight. Pretty curve. Height looks good. Width looks good. Let's mark it up. We got this sheet here. Center line. Center lines, bend lines, so we'll form two. This is 60. Quarter marks. And I think that's about it. Oh, burn lines. There you go. Okay, so there's that one. We're going to move on to the hole pattern here. So with the hole pattern, this has to get extended over. We're going to take each one of these dots here and bring them down to the corresponding lines that are down below. Do what we did last time down here. We'll number this 1, 2, 3, 4. This have to be 5, 6, and 7. Coming over, so we're going to match to here, and then we're trying to figure out this arc on the one side, projecting from the apex through where the element line hits the element line of the cone, and then comes out to the outside edge so we can figure out that pattern. again, 1, 2 through 7. So maybe I'll start at 1, 2, 3. Those ones are almost on top of one another. So definitely very close. They're all going to be within very, very close. And it'll come down to how sharp is your pencil. There's number 2, you're only talking maybe half a millimeter, maybe a millimeter. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 4. 5. 6. And 7 is just down below. You really don't even need to drop 1 or 7 because they're right on center. Okay, let's project the lines through. There's almost going to be nothing between these ones. That's 4. That one was 3. 5. I'll just do these in order here as I'm coming along them. You have to put a little dot there to identify. Again, that'll be 2. And 6. Okay, we'll get ready for this pattern for the hole. Okay, you can always double check to make sure you've got enough room. So I'm just going to put mine right in the middle. So about 200, so I'll just go 100 here. 100, 110 from the edge. Okay. Now, here's the critical part. When you measure from the apex on the sloping side, it's not going to be to here for number 4. You need to bring this out at this elevation, because this here is at this elevation, not at this one. So we need to project all of these to the outside. This one's so close. Okay, 1, 2, okay, you're going to take those dimensions, so from the apex, hopefully my dividers go long enough. Yes, they do. And we need to go all the way to the base. All the way to the base, because everything comes off the base here. So right here at the base. This is the base line. Same with this would be the base line. Everything off of here. Let's put a apex. This is the apex. Notice how I put the craft paper down on the table here, so my point has some strength. It doesn't go through the paper. Okay, so from here we're just going to do the whole pattern here. Oh, actually, we may as well just put all the other, instead of starting down here, why don't we just start by putting all these on? Let's go up and do 7 up through 1. All the way up to 1. We're not going to worry about truncating the top of this cone. We're just interested in the whole pattern here. So we need to measure out. This will be 1 and 7 here. This is our base line. Maybe we can just measure along. So we'll do number 6 first. Looks like it's about 18 and a bit. Should really come from the origin point here instead of relative from the last one. 28. 33 and a bit. Heavy on the 33. Oh, did I meant to put 5 there. I was thinking 33. 3 is the next one. Bit of a flex for this ruler. 142. Need a more flexible ruler. And that looks like it's just 2 mils further. Oh, we're about 45 for that one. $44 maybe. Connect these to the top. These take a little bit of time to do. There's no real fast way of doing this by pencil and paper. The only other faster alternative would be some software programs. I think the biggest thing is not making any mistakes. So go slow enough where you're double checking your work, because a mistake will set you back all the way to the beginning sometimes. Okay, so a number of these on the way up. So 7 is obviously there. 6. And make sure you're hitting the 5 here and the 4. And we'll come up, we'll do the 3. Start at the bottom, 6. And just make sure these match. It's 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. I'm pretty sure these do come down to a bit of a point here. This is a bit of a tough one. We'll go ahead and try to snake this in. Looks like it's going to end up at a point on number 4. I say the snake is that's the fun part here. Get it as close as possible. Pretty small dimensions we're working with here. Okay, not too bad. Go ahead, identify this. I'm just going to call this a hole pattern. Drawing number 9. This bottom here, I guess we can form to 120. Like that. Put some quarter marks on here. Some burn lines. And that's about it. Okay, so we don't need to do the cone for this one. We got 2 patterns on this page. This page is full. Double check them with the patterns as well that you have. With these, the how-to, if you want to see exactly how the line is, you get a little closer view of that than maybe looking over here. There's number 9, and we'll be handing that one in. So we'd be taking a picture, scanning it, and putting them all into a file. Okay, thank you.